Good afternoon. Most of you that know me, if somebody gives me a script, I throw it out. I have the mic now, so I just want to let you know that I have the honor today to introduce our next guest speaker, Scott Brown of New Hampshire. Senator Brown has a long history of public service. He served as a state representative of Massachusetts for 3 terms and in the state Senate for 5 years. With the passing of the late Ted Kennedy, Senator Brown won a special election to complete the 3 years left on that term. Like many of you here today, I remember his campaign well. When he was asked if he thought he could win Ted Kennedy's seat, his comment was, "It is not Ted Kennedy's seat. It belongs to the people of Massachusetts." I was hooked. I even managed to send him a few dollars to help him win. Now, I really don't think the $20 that I sent him put him over the top. But when he won, I let people know that I had contributed to his campaign. My guess is that many of you did the same thing that are in the room tonight. While in the U.S. Senate, Scott worked hard on many pieces of important legislation. The Hire a Heroes Veteran Bill provided tax benefits for employers to hire returning veterans. That was one of his greatest achievements, and I respect that he did this for our veterans. Scott has also served our country as a colonel in the U.S. Army, and although I'm a Navy person, I'll say thank you. Since his daughter Ayla's success on American Idol, he is now considered Ayla's dad. Much in the same way, I'm considered Donna Marzullo's husband. So please join me in welcoming Ayla's dad, Scott Brown.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Please sit. Thank you. Thank you, JP. I actually checked the records. I don't think it was actually 20. It was probably just 10 that you said. Well, first of all, a lot of familiar faces here. A lot of friendly faces, friends, supporters, colleagues, new faces. I want to thank you all very much for the warm welcome that you've given both Gail and me and our family. Jennifer, I want to thank you and your team at the state party for all of your efforts. Gail and I are honored to join each and every one of you today. I want to thank the elected officials here as well, and especially thank all the activists who made all the victories so possible. We have a lot of work ahead of us, but together we're going to make 2014 a great Republican year in New Hampshire and across this great country. I know that because for about a year now, I've been traveling all over this state, talking to folks and supporting good candidates, good people. I've traveled so much in New Hampshire, I'm focusing on a new personal milestone. The truck now has about 300,000 miles on it. I'm pretty proud of that American-made GMC Canyon. No offense to our Toyota dealers here. And I'm sure, and it's sure good, looking good right now, notwithstanding all the dents with the Live Free or Die license plates on it. Since the last election, I've made it my personal mission to travel not just around this state, but around this great country to help Republicans get reelected, raise money, be able to battle in 2014 and beyond. Republican groups and candidates are gaining strength. They're ready to give their best efforts in this election year. I've journeyed far and wide, like many of you, glad to help wherever I can. Every one of us here shares that same commitment. And if we do things right this year, we will bring a defining victory to our cause. It wasn't so long ago, I remember it like you do, that the Democratic establishment in Washington was feeling very, very comfortable, like they just couldn't lose. You could tell they were comfortable because they kept forcing Obamacare upon us and didn't much care how the American people or each and every one of you in this room felt about it. Well, guess what? Election day is about 8 months away, and they're already in panic mode. A big political wave is about to break in America, and the Obamacare Democrats are on the wrong side of that wave. And don't forget, remember this disastrous law began with a promise, and you all remember it. If you like your health plan, you can keep it. Remember that? Period. Period. Then the attitude became, you're going to change your plan and like it. Period. And here's the message that all the Americans and every one of you want to hear right now. If we don't like Obamacare, we can get rid of it. Period. The Democratic leadership likes to say that Obamacare is a law, because guess what? Elections have consequences. But false promises and false rhetoric also have consequences. And the party that put everything on the line for the takeover of our very good health care system have a lot to answer for in 2014 and beyond. Tens of thousands of people in New Hampshire have lost their health care coverage that they liked. They liked it, they enjoyed it, they felt comfortable with it. And thousands more are now paying higher premiums for coverage that they don't actually like. The whole thing is such a fiasco. You've seen it, you've read about it, you feel it in your gut, that the administration keeps changing the law without even bothering to ask Congress or any one of you. It's my way or the highway. And I'm tired of it. And please make this clear when you share this with your friends. I don't care if they're Democrats, Republicans, independents, young, old, happy, sad, gay, straight. I don't care. But there's only one way to get rid of Obamacare once and for all. And that's to get rid of the Obama Democrats who rammed it through Congress and force it on the American people. Whether it's Nancy Pelosi, and you all remember this, hey, listen, we have to pass a bill to see what's in it. That has to be the greatest quote of all time. Or the go-along Democratic senators who vote 99 to 100% of the time with the president. It's time for the whole crowd to go. The failing health care law is just a centerpiece of an agenda that is holding the greatest country in the world, America, back. That agenda is keeping unemployment high, raising taxes, over-regulating our businesses, hurting the middle class, their families, overwhelming this country in debt and deficits that we just can't afford, and weakening America's standard in this world. The federal government spends too much, it taxes too much, it borrows too much. And as I said before, the last thing in Washington we need right now is another yes vote to support a broken and misguided agenda. I've said it before as I've traveled around this country. I've said it in the past. We need to get off the road of big government and focus on private enterprise, our job creators, the people who sign on the dotted line, put their house, their lives, their loved ones, their health on the line each and every day to create jobs for each and every one of you in this room. New jobs for the people, basic federal duties, starting with our citizens' rights and the security of this great country. Those are the things that matter. We're seeing a constant expansion of the federal government and the federal powers. And it's up to us to ask the basic questions dealing with this. Since when can a president rewrite laws in acts of Congress as he sees fit, as this president has done? Since when? By what right does the IRS get off targeting groups unfavored by the federal establishment? Why are politicians in Washington passing a stimulus that added debt, but instead of being a windfall for jobs, was a bonanza for insiders and special interests and friends of politicians? The answer to each and every one of these questions is none of this is anywhere defensible in a free society. We need a fresh approach, a new approach. And there's a lot of things that you can try to do, but here's the best I can do offhand. How about start running this government again by the principles and limits of the United States Constitution, for starters? Because at our best, that's where we Republicans come in, as the defenders of freedom and opportunity. And opportunity is more than just another word in politics, especially when you've had a glimpse of life without it. We're still the party of Lincoln. We're still the party of Reagan. We believe in the goodness and possibilities of our lives. That's still a fundamental core belief in my soul, and I know in your soul. I don't care if you are a conservative Republican, a moderate Republican, a liberal Republican. As Americans, that's the core belief that we all feel in our soul. And we try to speak for the men and women who work hard each and every day to make a decent living. We want schools that help build knowledge and character. A nation committed to security, fairness, freedom. We see our country, I see our country as a force for good like no other in this world. And we understand how much rides on a strong and confident America. You can see it right now in the Ukraine, what's happening. All of this describes the people in neighborhoods I've known since I was a kid. It started right here in New Hampshire. So much of my life played out in Massachusetts, and I'm very proud and thankful for those opportunities. But a big part of it was always right here in New Hampshire. And I'd like to take a moment just to reflect back for a moment so we can actually move forward on facts. My mom and dad married at a very young age. My dad met Mom when she was a waitress at Hampton Beach. You've all been there. My dad was an airman at Pease Air Force Base. They were living on Islington Street in Portsmouth when I came along. Pease had no hospital, so I was born in the Portsmouth Naval Shipyard, which I still believe and always have believed still belongs in Portsmouth. We lived in Portsmouth until my mom and dad separated. The story really doesn't get much better from there, at least for a while, and many of you have read my book, and like many of you, it was a rough upbringing. I know that many of you have had those very similar life experiences, or you know somebody who's had those life experiences. So I'm not unique except for the fact that my mom and dad were married and divorced 4 times each. I know, it's funny. No, I laugh, else I'll cry, okay? And I lived in 17 houses by the time I was 18. We were on public assistance for a while. And now and then as a young boy and teenager, I got into trouble. Okay, let's just say that right up front. And I worked through high school and college and law school and jobs that usually involved a mop, a paintbrush, a shovel, or any honest work that paid the bills so I could do something to move me forwards to something better that we all strive for as Americans. And during those challenging years, one influence, the main influence in my life that made all the difference to me was the love and care I got from my grandparents. I think of them often these days because we spent so much time together in New Hampshire. Sorry. There were the summers at Hoyt's Cabins, spending the summer with Graham to escape the chaos of my life, exploring the rocks along Rye Coast like many of you have done with your kids and grandkids, looking for that sea glass where my daughters used to think it was dollars. We'd walk up to the ice cream place and we'd be behind the girl saying, "Take it, it's money, I'll pay you later." And they say, "Yes, I'd like 2 ice creams, here's the sea glass," and we're all set. Playing around at Hampton Beach, walking through the gardens and catching a show at Prescott Park. Strolling through Strawberry Bank with my grandfather as he explained the history of Portsmouth. Those places, and spending time with my grandparents, was a refuge that I needed at that point in my life. And it was a long point in my life. Those memories are so powerful to me. I still get a little bit emotional about it, that I've tried to share them with my wife and our own daughters so they can share them with their kids and so on and so forth. I cherish those memories and those long and strong family ties to this great state. And without a doubt, they helped draw me and Gail back to New Hampshire. My upbringing always, it won't set the best of examples. And it might not sound like the making of a Republican. Yet when I cast my vote for president in 1980, I knew which candidate talked my language, and the language of opportunity and freedom, that was Ronald Reagan to me. Back then, just like today, I remember it like it was yesterday. National Democrats offered themselves up back in the 80s as the champions of the little guy, a voice for the people at the bottom who didn't have anything. Well, guess what? I was pretty close to the bottom myself at that point in my life. And when critics talked about Republicans as the defenders of wealth and privilege, that sure didn't describe the party and cause that earned my loyalty when I was a young voter. The party of Ronald Reagan stood for liberty and equality, an upward path in life for everyone, and a strong national defense to protect our country and advance our cause throughout this great world. That was a party I was proud to join. Proud to join. And I'm still proud to be a part of. And though we never have been perfect as a party, and we're battling amongst ourselves as brothers and sisters, trying to get our vision and our feelings out, we're still Republicans, as we're still Americans first. It's still the best party to lead this nation, not only in this election cycle, but the next. I'm proud to be a Republican. And I've done so with the ability of always trying to find the good in each and every person, regardless of who they are and their political affiliation. Work with every person of goodwill who wanted to work with me. That's something that's drastically missing in Washington right now. We need that spirit right now in Washington. You've seen the gridlock, the turmoil, the negativity, the divisiveness. I'm tired of it. Tired of the blaming. I'm tired of the divisiveness. Us versus them, the haves and the have-nots. I'm tired. I'm tired of our party fighting. We need to unite to send a very powerful message to the rest of this country that we can do it better. We deserve to do it. We deserve to have the ability to solve these very real problems. And unless enough people on both parties work together on a very regular basis, well, you know what? You're going to get a lot of bad laws and a lot of resentment, not only within the party, but without. There has to be a time and place. Ask yourselves, there has to be a time and place right now, in this moment in time, that we have to act as Americans first. We have to find a way to find that common thread to battle in the next election cycle and beyond, to show the American people who we are as leaders and convey that message in a strong and powerful way. That's what I've been saying to fellow citizens around this state and around our great country. And I'll tell you what, there's a lot of agreement. We don't agree on everything. My wife is the only one I agree with. I just tell her that sometimes, just to make her like me more. Listen, we've been married 30 years, okay? I can't believe it. I really can't. I love you, honey. Can't believe you put up with me, quite honestly. There's a lot of agreement. And to paraphrase President Reagan, I'd rather be your 60, 70, 80% friend than your 100% enemy. So we have to find that common ground. And I just want to tell you, I'll be listening a lot more closely in these coming weeks as I make a very big decision in our lives. And it won't surprise you that over the last year, I've been paying special attention to my wife, Gail, of almost 30 years. And Gail's the one who's been telling me that if I really want to make a difference, number one, I should stop complaining. And number two, I should run for the United States Senate in New Hampshire. So honey, you're right. You're right. I'm going to stop complaining and get involved again. So I'm announcing today that I've formed an exploratory committee to prepare a campaign for the United States Senate in New Hampshire. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And starting tomorrow morning for the next several weeks, Gail and I will be traveling around this great state to introduce ourselves, to ask questions, to speak with everyone of every background, Republicans, independents, Democrats alike, and above all, to listen and learn of all of your concerns, because I do not know it all, unlike some people in Washington who think they do. We look forward to meeting you. We look forward to this great journey ahead and to all that is yet to come. Thank you for your courtesy, your friendship. God bless. Thank you. Thank you.